for years. I watched expats lose everything in Thailand. Bars, girls, nightlife. I thought I was smarter. I really did. Turns out, I wasn't. Mine was worse, because I didn't lose my life savings in a bar, not even in a casino. I lost it in a village, on an investment I thought was my future, and the man I helped the most was never her brother. He was her husband. My name is Colin. I'm 68 years old, and this is how I spent £52,000 building a life in Thailand that didn't include me. Let me start from the beginning. I am from Manchester, divorced, 26 years of marriage, gone. Not because of anything dramatic, no affairs, no abuse, just indifference. We'd stopped being a couple somewhere around year 15 and spent the next decade pretending we hadn't. The divorce was civil, fair even. She got the house. I got half the savings. £75,000, not a fortune, but enough to retire on if I was careful. I was 63 years old. I'd worked as an electrician for 40 years. My body was tired. My knees ached. My hands hurt from decades of wiring and pulling cables. I wanted to stop, but £75,000 wasn't enough to retire comfortably in the UK. So I started looking at Thailand. I'd been to Thailand once before, a lad's holiday in the 90s, Pattaya, the usual, but I remembered how far money went, how warm it was, how cheap everything seemed. So in early 2019, I moved to Pattaya, rented a small apartment near Jomtien Beach. Nothing fancy. 1 bedroom, aircon, 12,000 baht a month, about £300. I could live on my pension, £1,400 a month, and barely touch my savings. For the first few months, I just existed. Morning coffee at the same cafe, gym, beach walks, dinners alone watching football on my laptop. I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't happy either. Just there. My meeting poi. I met her at a bar near Walking Street. Not one of the big, loud ones. A smaller place. Quieter. She was working behind the bar. 29 years old. Slim. Pretty in that soft, natural way. No heavy makeup. No hard edges. I ordered a beer. She smiled. We talked. Small talk at first. Where are you from? How long have you been here? But then she told me about her daughter. 6 years old. Living with Poi's parents in Buriram, a province in Isan, northeast Thailand. I work here to send money home, she said quietly. For my daughter, for my parents. They are rice farmers, not much money. What about the father? I asked. He left, she said, looking down. Thai boyfriend. When I got pregnant, he go away. Now I do this job. I don't like it, but I have no choice. She said it without self-pity. Just fact. That got to me. I started going to that bar more often. Not every night, just regularly. We'd talk. She'd ask about my life. I'd ask about hers. She wasn't like the other girls. She didn't ask for drinks, didn't ask for money, didn't flirt aggressively. She just listened. And after months of living alone in a foreign country, that mattered. About 2 months in, I asked if I could take her out to dinner. Somewhere nice. She hesitated. I don't go with customers, she said. I'm not asking as a customer, I said. I'm asking as someone who'd like to know you better. She smiled. Okay. We went to a seafood restaurant near the beach, talked for hours. She told me about her daughter, about her dreams of leaving bar work, about wanting a better life. I told her about my divorce, my loneliness, how strange it felt to start over at 63. At the end of the night, I paid the bill, drove her home on my motorbike. She didn't invite me in, just smiled and said, "Thank you. You are kind, man." We started seeing each other regularly after that. Dating, really. She'd come to my apartment. We'd cook together, watch movies, talk. It felt natural, like a real relationship. She told me she hated working at the bar, that she wanted to quit but couldn't afford to. If I quit, my daughter has no food. My parents have no help. I didn't offer money at first, but after a few weeks I asked, "How much do you make at the bar?" "Maybe 15,000 baht a month," she said. "Sometimes more if customers tip good." About £350. I thought about it for a day. Then I said, "What if I help you, so you don't have to work there anymore? We're together now. I want to support you." She looked at me, surprised. "Why you do that?" "Because I care about you," I said, "and I don't like the idea of you working there. We're building something, aren't we?" She cried, actually cried. "You are too good to me." Not long after she quit the bar, I started sending her 15,000 baht a month, about 350 pounds, enough for her to live on, send money to her parents, and visit her daughter more often. She was so grateful, called me every day, sent photos of her daughter, thanked me constantly. "You saved my life," she said once. I felt good, useful, needed. For the first time in years, I felt like I mattered. 6 months into our relationship, she invited me to visit her village. "I want you to meet my family," she said. "See where I come from, see my daughter." I flew to Udon Thani, then took a bus to her village in Buriram province. It was different. Dirt roads, small wooden houses on stilts, rice fields stretching forever, water buffalo, chickens wandering around. Her parents were kind, older, weathered from years of farm work. They didn't speak English, but Poi translated. "They say thank you for helping me," she said. "They say you're a good man." I met her daughter, Niran, shy at first, but sweet. She called me Uncle Colin, and I met her brother, Somchai, 32 years old, thin, quiet, polite. He worked odd jobs in the village, motorbike taxi, day labor on construction sites. He wanted to learn trade, Poi said, like you, electrician, fixing things, but no money for training. I looked at him, saw myself at that age, trying to make something of myself. "I can teach him," I said, "if he wants to learn." Poi translated. Somchai smiled, nodded enthusiastically. He say thank you very much. That trip changed everything. I saw how her family lived. The house was old, leaking roof, cracked walls, no proper bathroom. Her parents slept on thin mats on the floor. I couldn't stop thinking about it when I got back to Pattaya. A week later, I talked to Poi. "How much would it cost to build a proper house for your family?" She was quiet. "Colin, you already do so much." "I want to do this," I said. "We're together. Your family is my family now. How much?" She asked around, got quotes from local builders. "Maybe 650,000 baht," she said, about 15,500 pounds. "Let's do it." The house took 4 months to build. 2 bedrooms, proper bathroom, tiled floors, metal roof. Nothing fancy by UK standards. But for a rice farming family in rural Aisan, it was everything. I flew back for the completion. Her parents cried. Poi cried. Even Somchai looked emotional. "You give us this," her father said through Poi. "We never forget." I felt like I'd finally done something that mattered. Somchai and I started spending more time together. He'd come to Pattaya sometimes, stay at my apartment for a week or two. I taught him basic electrical work, how to wire a plug, how to fix a fan, how to use a multimeter. He was a quick learner, grateful, always respectful. "You like brother to me," he said once, in broken English. I smiled. "You're like a son I never had." He looked touched by that. Over the next 2 years, I kept helping. Bought a small rice field for the family, 250,000 baht, about 6,000 pounds. Bought a used pickup truck so Somchai could do deliveries, 220,000 baht, about 5,200 pounds. Helped Poi open a small shop in the village, selling snacks and drinks, 150,000 baht, about 3,500 pounds. Every time they were grateful, every time I felt needed. Poi would say, "You build future for us, for my daughter, for family, for our life together." And I believed her. On my second visit to the village, Somchai mentioned he was struggling. "I live with friend," he said, "but friend want me to move. I have nowhere to go." "What about your parents' house?" I asked. "They need space for Naran," Poi said, "and my sister's baby coming soon." I didn't hesitate. "You can stay with me in Pattaya," I said. "I have space. You can learn more about electrical work. I'll help you get proper training." Somchai looked at Poi. She translated quickly in Thai. He smiled, bowed his head. "Thank you, Uncle Colin. Thank you so much." He stayed with me for 3 months. We'd work together during the day. I'd take small jobs around Pattaya, and he'd help. At night, we'd have dinner, watch TV, talk about life. He called me Phi, older brother. I called him my apprentice. I even helped him get a Thai electrician's assistant license. Cost me another 40,000 baht, about 950 pounds, for the course and exam fees. When he passed, I took him out for drinks. You're going to have a good life, I told him. You're a hard worker. You'll take care of your family. He raised his glass. Because of you, Phi Colin. By the 5th year, I'd sent or spent about 52,000 pounds total. The house, the land, the truck, the shop, the training, the monthly support for Poi. My savings were down to about 23,000 pounds. But I told myself it was worth it. I had a relationship, a partner, a family who cared about me. Poi, Niran, her parents, Somchai. I wasn't alone anymore. Then the call that changed everything came in. Poi, crying. Somchai had accident. Motorbike. He in hospital. My chest tightened. Is he okay? I don't know. They say we have to pay first. Then they do x-ray. Check everything. How much? Maybe 30,000 baht. About 700 pounds. I'm coming, I said. I'll handle it. I flew to Udon Thani the next day. Poi picked me up, drove me to a provincial government hospital in Buriram. Plastic chairs, ceiling fans, fluorescent lights, no air conditioning. We walked to the admissions desk. A nurse handed Poi a clipboard with forms. Poi filled them out quickly, her hand shaking. I stood beside her, waiting. Then the nurse handed the clipboard back to check. It was the emergency contact form. Bilingual, Thai and English. Under relationship, it said, husband, Somchai, wife, Poi. I stared at it, read it again. The words didn't change. Excuse me, I said quietly to the nurse. This says, husband? The nurse looked at the form, then at me. Yes, husband and wife, same address, same family book. I looked at Poi. She was frozen, not panicked, not crying, just still. Poi, I said. She swallowed. It's mistake. Thai form mistake. We fix later. The nurse shook her head gently. No mistake, Ka. This from government registration. Same family book, same house. Then, almost kindly, she looked at me. You friend, yes? I couldn't speak. I stepped outside, sat on a concrete bench under a tin roof. The heat pressed down on me like a weight. My ears were ringing. My chest felt tight. I couldn't breathe. Poi came out a few minutes later. Colin, please, I explained. He's your husband, I said. My voice sounded far away. It's not like that. He's your husband. You're married. You've been married. She didn't deny it. Yes, but how long? Colin, how long? 8 years. The world tilted. 8 years. Since before I met her. Since before any of this. The daughter, I said. Naran. She's his. Yes, and the house, the land, the truck, the shop, everything I built, everything I paid for. Colin, please. It was all for him. For your husband. My chest tightened. Sharp pain shot down my left arm. I couldn't breathe. Colin, what's wrong? I tried to stand. Couldn't. The world went gray at the edges. I think I said, I can't. Then I collapsed. I woke up in a hospital bed. A different room. Air-conditioned this time. A Thai doctor stood over me. You had panic attack, he said in clear English. Heart is okay, but blood pressure very high. You need rest. Poi was in the corner of the room. I turned my head away. I want to go home, I said. To Pattaya? The doctor asked. No, the UK. I want to go home. Well, I flew back to Manchester a week later. Didn't see Poi again. Didn't see Somchai. Didn't see Niran. Just left. I couldn't stay there, not after that. Not in the same country where I'd been so blind. I'm 68 now. I live in a one-bedroom flat in Salford. I still have some money left. About 23,000 pounds. Enough to live on carefully with my pension. I'm not destitute, but I'm not who I was either. I don't work anymore. My body can't handle it, but I think about going back to work sometimes, just to have something to do, to fill the hours. I thought I was building a future, with someone I loved, someone who loved me, but I was just paying rent, on a life I was never part of. And the worst part? I can't even blame them entirely, because I wanted to believe it so badly. I needed to believe it, that she loved me, that we were building something together, that I mattered. But I didn't. I never did. She didn't have to lie much. I lied to myself. And that's the part I can't forgive. This is my story. If this made you think twice, hit like. If you know someone heading down this path, share it. Subscribe to Expat Life in Asia for real stories, the ones nobody wants to hear. I'll see you in the next one.